Oh, welcome, racers, and thanks for tuning in to the Merry Christmas edition of the Northwest Race Report, the weekly motorsports podcast that covers motorsports in season around the Northwest and beyond. I am your horsepower and performance broadcaster, Terry Bridges, and alongside me is my awesome co-host and crew chief, Glenn Lippy Tower. So, a little bit of traffic, Lip, huh?
Yeah, man, I just made it in like a second ago, so good to be here.
Well, look who is P1.
He's bringing it down tonight.
Dude,
huh?
I'm telling you what. P1 is Mr. Daniel Kravitz from Time Again Motorsports. Jason Suchich in the P2 spot, and P3 goes to Dan Watkins.
It's just fresh off the snow, Dan Watkins is.
That's right. Scott McDowell says, I did make it in time. He is fourth, and there he is.
Mr.
Super
Chizzy.
Man, dude, the guy's amazing. He's there. He's in the fifth spot. Russ Meyer filling in just out of the top five in the sixth spot. Man, so, well, I'm glad you made it. Merry Christmas, by the way.
Yes, there it is.
I just got one question for you.
Yes, sir.
Are you all done with your shopping?
Yeah, it's real easy for me. I don't do any.
Well, I am doing my usual. The last-minute thrash on. I'm going to put that off again another night until Thursday on Christmas Eve. There must be something about that last-minute pressure that I enjoy because I do it every year. I mean, I just do it.
It's a madhouse out there.
It is. But it isn't too late to stop by Blue Line Graphics because they're having their holiday sales event going on right now. Get 25% off a huge selection of over 50 incredible cutting-edge wing designs, wraps, logos, and custom graphics. There's still time. Santa hasn't left yet. You just go to www.blg.blue and get hooked up. You can put a little IOU in the stocking, and you'd be all good. Ricky Worley checking in. He made it. 7th spot, Ricky. You're in the top 10. But, so yeah. I mean, that's what's going on. We got a great show for you tonight. We're going to talk about the board of directors and what their real role is. Our Blue Line Graphics in the seat guest tonight is pretty darn cool. He is the dad of Donnie Austin, who is the new Bikers Against Bullies Mississippi UAS junior driver. His name is Bryan Rushing, and it's going to be cool to talk to Bryan. And then we're also going to talk about some upcoming holiday classic stuff next week. We got some notes on some BK8 stuff, and in Lappin with Lippy.
Yes, tonight I'm going to be talking about records and receipts and all the things you should be doing that we haven't been doing.
Well, as usual, tonight's Winner Circle Wednesday brought to you by Wicked Fabrication, Auburn, Washington, since 2002. They've been bringing the hot rodding community and car nut community the best in custom auto fab. When you think fab, think Wicked Fab. Check them out on Facebook and on the web at www.wickedfab.com. Salem Speedway this weekend, 2-day show. I guess another outstanding turnout. Did you hear anything?
Yeah, I heard nothing but good stuff, that's for sure.
Good. I mean, that's what we like to hear, right? So, guess who just showed up?
No, who?
He is in the 8th spot. It's the hitman, Ryan Diotti. Oh, baby. The hitman in the house. Always awesome to have him here. Yeah, so I don't know what's I guess Salem was pretty good. But anyway, we got a lot to cover, so we're gonna wing through it. Beginner box, Pee-wee non-Subaru went to Brandon Suchich. You know, and I'm just going to say this early. I'm looking at these records, and we go, man, Suchich has got a ton of kids, and he's also, he's got one of his own, right, that he and his wife now have, and he's got one from a prior marriage, and then so does she. So it's kind of like the Brady Bunch, sort of.
There you go. I like it.
But here's the deal. While he is running the show, she is back in the pit area doing whatever.
Wow.
Changing gears, I'm telling you, what? So, Nicole you are like super awesome.
Yeah, that's a big high five there from both of us.
Yeah, she handles all those duties during the day. And then, one time says, I'm sitting in traffic and listening in. Mr. Diotti in the house. What's up, Mr. Diotti? Merry Christmas, all you guys. Sincerely, Merry Christmas. So, Nicole, you got my hats off to you, because during the week, that's when Jason, sorry. He does all the work on the cars during the week that she can't really do at the racetrack, but she handles them getting ready, get them up on the grid. If there's, pounding out wings, if they got to do this. She must be.
Yeah, hats off, definitely.
That's a score, right? Any way you look at it, that's a score. So, Jason, I wouldn't expect anything under the Christmas tree. You already got it, pal. That's what I'm saying. Beginner box, Pee Wee Subaru went to Colin Mendez. Great to see Colin Mendez back. He got tripped and fell and hit his face on the wing, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, that guy.
Back. He wins it. Cody Cormican was second. Quarter Midget Senior went to Bailey Barney. 125 Cage went to Lane Taylor. Kyle Rolls second. Alex Reich third. Bryson Smith was fourth. And Miles Massey was fifth. 5-horse open went to Anthony Prather. Again, this guy is something.
He's all over.
Man, I guess. Fonfero was in the third spot. Seth Riggs was second. Kendra Sucic was fifth. Jojo Battaglia was fourth. Buckstock Intermediate Subaru went to Madison Basile. Congratulations to her. She beat Alona Winningham, who was second. Ryan Potter. Briggs Elo 206 went to Seth Waldall. Sizzling Seth.
Yeah, glad to see that. And Oliver's in second on that one.
But here's the cool thing. They had, looks like they got what? 1, 2, they had 5, 6. So maybe the 206.
It's starting to catch on down there.
I think it is. Yeah. That's
Gotta
awesome.
like it.
That's awesome. 250 Cage went to Devin Borden.
Man, imagine that.
Yeah, Taylor Roberts second. Duke Johnson. Hey, Duke. He was third. McLean Bedoin was fourth. Brendan Bartlett fifth. Man, they had 250 class was stacked. The Saturday night show, the open cages went to the Schofield kid, Eric Schofield. Duke Johnson was second. Brendan Waterman third. Casey Smith fourth, and Kevin Town fifth. Loaded again in the 500s, too. Johnny Burke was there. Doug Pirtle was there. Justin Jones, Parker Stevens. Wow. Kyle Cormican, he was ninth.
15th entries there.
Wow. Dwarf car went to Shane Youngman. So congratulations. Jim Paulson. Do you know Jim Paulson?
Coming down.
Wow, that is some going back. That goes back to my late model days.
So that is the Paulsons of Paulson's Motorsports then?
Well, no. Well, I don't know. He ran a late model for many years at Portland Speedway.
Oh, I see.
And as a matter of fact, J.J. Safino, Dave Goulet built a car for him. And, yeah. He was sponsored by Loy Clark Pipeline back in the day. And if it's the same Jim Paulson, it very well could be. But Dion Zelmer was fourth. Fifth was Robert O'Neill. Midgets went to Nick Larson, Bailey Sucic, and Kevin Larson. Micro Restricted, Lyndon Lebendowski. Yeah, I think that's right. Right?
Looks like it.
Lebendowski. Alyssa Piles was second. Micro 600cc, Lindsey Barney, and Doug Pirtle 1, 2. So no Renee. They're getting ready to go to...
They are on their way.
They're on their way, yeah.
They're in Nevada.
All right. Mini Stock went to Crystal Flath. That's awesome. Pro 4, I don't see anything. First, second, third, fourth, fifth.
They had 5 entries.
Yeah, I don't see that. I just printed off what he sent me. Maybe he forgot that one.
46 total entries, though, on the weekend. That's
on Sunday.
great.
That was on Sunday. That was on Sunday. I don't know how many on Saturday, but 500cc went to Kyle Cormican. So he regrouped. Dylan Lamberth and Duke Johnson were the top 3. Beginner box, non-Subaru. Hunter Piles won it. Brandon Sucic second. Mason Zybart was third. Let's see here. Beginner box, Subaru. Colin Mendez goes back-to-back. So he's back-to-backing and sending them packing, right?
Nice.
Yes, indeed. 125 went to Dustin Asher. Alex Sucic was second. Lane Taylor. Quarter Midget Jr. went to Cody Greer. Micro Restricted, Alyssa Piles. Micro Open went to Lindsey Barney. And the 250 cage went to Duke Johnson. Kyle Cormican was second. Devin Borden third. Roberts fourth. Lynn fifth. 5-horse open. Anthony Prather again. So he's back-to-back. And Fonfara second. Massey third. Riggs fourth. And Sucic in the fifth spot. And LO206, he went back-to-back. Sizzlin' Seth, Oliver Rolwich, Brianna Fuller, and Taylor Fuller. That rounded up your top four. Not to forget the good folks up at Monroe.
Oh, yeah.
WHR Motorsports. Up at Monroe, I guess they get good turnouts. I mean, it sounds like it's super strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is good up there. Definitely. The one thing that I noticed out of all the stats that we see coming out of there is most of the people don't go anywhere else except for there. So, I mean, it's great for Monroe, and they draw great numbers, but the people just don't seem to travel. But it's working up there, so anybody that gets a chance, I would definitely go up and make some laps.
Yeah, that's it. You know, I'm speaking, so it looks like one time's checking out of here on the 20. He's leaving Christmas, the evening of Christmas. So he's driving down. So yeah,
heading down to Arizona.
Arizona. So one time will be there, absolutely, along with the Hitman and the female phenom Renee Angel, among others. But up at Monroe, the kid karts, Brooklyn Constance won that. Looks like in the open class, Alex Hantel wins it. Reese Wickard, Alan Terrell third, Weber fourth, Dave Jensen fifth, Lawrence Kirkham sixth, Tim Barker DNF'd. Jaden Roberts was second in kid karts. McKenna Morgan, Danny Constance, and Brendan Wagner rounded out the kid karts. That's a pretty good little turnout for kid karts.
Yeah, definitely. Got a couple Constances in
for
there,
sure.
too. Anybody that knows them knows they run Joe's Racing.
Absolutely, and they're great people. Spencer Constance wins heavy. Keith Rickard, Paul Hoppy? Is it Hoppy?
Hoppy.
And Trenton Moriarty. Now, you know, Trenton, he runs at Evergreen. So, you know, these guys are kind of getting their winter stuff. I think he runs a mini stock or something there. Moriarty's pretty good, too. Yeah. He's won a lot of stuff. Schoolboy went to Tyler McLeod. Haley Constance second. Cassidy Sunholm was the last to get on the podium. In the pro division, who do you see at the top of the board?
Ronnie Cobb.
The Rocket. Andrea Smith, Alan Terrell, your top three. Light went to the Rocket. Oops. And that is Light went to the Rocket. Joe Constance was second. Andrea Smith was third. She made the podium. Let's see here. That looks like that's about it for that's what I got anyway.
Yeah.
For the results. A big shout out to Matt Strebe for doing all the stats and stuff for up there at Monroe.
Yeah, I can't say enough about Matt. He's really doing a lot this year to support all of karting, and I'm glad to have him on board. He's really taken a lot of the work out of it for us by gathering all this information together and keeping it all in line for us. That's a big deal. He's also just doing everything he can to promote karting. If anybody's a Facebook friend of his, he's been posting nothing but karting stuff for sale all around the Northwest, trying to make it available for those people that are looking. So again, a big shout out to Matt Strebe. We couldn't do all this without you, bud. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's good stuff. And you can go to his strebespeedway.wordpress.com if you're going to be running at the BK to get your name on whatever class you've got. Let him know, because he's capturing all that stuff. That's going to help us greatly. You know, I just on the grid coming to you. You know, there's just something. I was going through some notes, and more speed, less money. The Oregon Two-Stroke Series is going to be part of the Oregon State Karting Championship Series in 2016. Word Racing has put together a shifter and tag 6-race series that will offer low cost and a whole bunch of fun. They'll have a place for all two-strokers in their 6-round series. So that's something that's kind of exciting, I think. It's just good. You know, you talked with Randy. We talked to him at the end of the at Salem there, and he's doing some good stuff. I mean, you know, the two-stroke thing is, I mean, it's weird to say that, they're kind of making if you got a 2-stroke, bring it out, right? Because but I think it's just, it's more or less letting everybody know that, hey, there's still going to be some affordable racing. You don't have to go get super serious, I guess.
Hats off to Randy at Word Racing there. He's really trying pretty hard to put together some classes. I don't know a lot about the tag and the different shifter series, but it seems like what he's doing is really trying to bring some of the stuff that's either outdated or sitting on the shelf or whatever, to get those people to bring that stuff out there and play around. It's not it's not the big series. He's just looking for fun and people. So, if you got something, get a hold of Word Racing over there and see where you fit into his program. It's 6 races. It seems like he's moving them around to different places. So, just get a hold of Word Racing and see where you fit in and have some fun. That's what he's looking to do, is make it fun again.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the key right there, too. I think fun, right? And with gas prices going down, we should have a decent summer, right? So
yes.
That's going to be cool. Other things floating around on the grid, eShifterCart.com had some cool news going on for 2016. They're going to be running the whole SCUSA series there. But the best thing to do is swing by eShifterCart.com. They've got some new stuff going on over there on the site. Check it out. Find out all the cool details there. Brian Esquinea in the house. He is Blue Line Graphics, everybody. So right on, Brian. Good to have you with us, buddy. Thanks for checking in. But I'm telling you, you're way out of the top 10, I do believe.
He's probably busy making money. So.
I don't know if you saw it. Did you see Chisholm's post on the new graphics he got from Blue Line?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, man, dude, they're off the chain. And I see,
yeah,
baby. Old Lippy got some stuff, and it looks pretty wild.
Yeah, Rusty and I are both really happy with the stuff that he's got going for us. He's put his hands out to me a couple times asking for some stuff that I haven't got back to him about, and I apologize, Brian, but we've had some issues there at the shop, and we're getting back on track, but it's just been a little slow starting.
Yeah, absolutely. Boy, hey, look at this. Teresa Baker Rushing checking in. Spin Cycle Racing. Part of the Bikers Against Bullies is checked in. So, Teresa, thanks for being here. Glad you're here. Looking forward to talking to your man here at the 7 o'clock hour. Let's see. Well, we're going to touch on some of the BK8 stuff, but we can drop this one. So, BK8 notes, it looks like Zach Schmitz and Jared Storr are going to be no-shows at the BK8. I don't know what's happening there, but Joe Gibb, though, is a for sure, as long as his truck series events don't conflict. So he's a for sure. But he won't know because their schedule isn't out quite yet. And let's see, Rico Jones says he'll be in for the next Salem Speedway Slideway Saturday event in tune-up for the BK8 coming up. So it sounds like we've got one more there in Yamaha Light, which is going to be a doozy of a class. Light and heavy is going to be crazy good.
Yeah, they're going to be big classes there for sure. They've already been good down there, so I can only expect several more. Both of them have been into the double digits, so that's great to see. Around the country, Yamahas aren't doing that well. I know they made a big push at Daytona this year, but everywhere else, they're not doing so good. So I'm really glad to see that, being as I own a few.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you've got, there's just there's so many good. You got Time Again Racing there. You've got, so Kravitz part of that clan. You got Brent Meyer, yourself, and Rusty. Hey, and by the way, how about an update? Have you, for those of you that didn't hear, after the last Salem event, Lippy parked his stuff at home, and somebody broke in and stole just about everything of really good value, especially a lot of the stuff was stuff they needed to go racing, right? Helmets and gloves and jackets and that kind of thing. And so what's the latest update on that?
Yeah, we're really getting raked over the coals on that deal. I only had homeowners. I didn't have any other policies other than that, and they they consider what we do a hobby. So pretty much nothing's covered. They did cover some of it, our pop-ups and some of our tools and other things like that, but anything that's on or bolts onto the cart, they basically don't cover under a standard plan. So
would they have covered your trailer?
If it would have been stolen or burned down or something, I think they would have covered it. But other than that, no, they just...
but they would have just covered the trailer, right? Not the contents?
Exactly.
Wow. It makes you wonder something. I don't know. I mean...
It really is a racket out there, and today's segment for Lappin' with Lippy is going to get into this in much more depth. But, it's unfortunate. I'm still arguing with them, and the bad thing is we're still finding stuff that's missing. So that's going to be more of my segment today is about that. So,
and that's probably going to be happening to you for a while, right? I mean, there's just stuff you go to look for. You don't know it's gone till you basically go and look for it.
Exactly. The big stuff's always easy to pick out as far as missing, but it's all the small stuff, and all the small stuff really adds up. Nuts and bolts and washers and different things like that you really don't think about until you start adding it all up, and that's where the big money comes from.
Yeah, it's racing. It's all about the little things, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's that little stuff that just it eats you up no matter what you do, whether you're racing or you're getting ripped off. The little stuff is what just breaks it. But Holiday Classic UAS show coming up this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Of course, we're going to have the winner, the Northwest Race Report, next Wednesday. I'm thinking, I'm just sitting here thinking, everybody says, well, it's been kind of quiet and there hasn't been, sometimes that's almost maybe a better thing, right? I think this is going to be probably one of the best classics yet.
Oh, definitely. I think the numbers are growing down there for sure, and the amount of participation and everybody that's looking forward to and going to have a good time. It's a great thing. Somebody's brought up some issues about the dates. I agree. Being Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is not the best thing, but it's what's working for them.
Yeah. But if we go and we actually look at this, okay, so the Rocket's not going, but you got Diotti, right? That almost a given that he is going to be one of the guys to beat. Right, wherever he goes, that's how it is. You got Berg that's going to be there. You've got Smoking Stephen Chase.
Definitely.
And then you got Renee, who has renewed. At least renewed my confidence in that program. She's going to be there. I think that better be something that everybody keeps in mind, is to not count her, out.
I think there's going to be a lot of heavy hitters there, and then there's the locals too, and forgive me for not knowing who they all are, but I'm
you got
sure
Torres that's there, right?
Definitely.
I don't know if he's got a big motor ride there, but yeah, there's just a lot of and then now you look at one time and he had a tough year last year, right? A really tough year. So, but man, I watched him at the last one at Salem. And holy smokes.
Yeah, he
looked good.
He's always been hooked up, but whatever gremlins are in there, he's sorting them out and he's promptly kicking them out. So glad to see that. He puts in his lumps, and it's time for him to rise to the top, definitely.
Absolutely. And he's due for that, as is Berg. He's never won there. So, I don't know if Hatch is going, but there's going to be, I'm sure, going to be a monster clone class there. So just a ton of exciting they're just exciting stuff down there, right? It's just you can't. I don't know. BK8. I know we've got some. I know Rocket's going. Stackman's in. Renee is in. Angel. You've got one time in. Let's see. You got Scott Boley. You've got Ron Bowles. You've got Ford Cook. And then you got some locals here now. I'm going to tell you, Zach Schmitz. I'm going to tell you, he was good last year. He showed up, and then the kid from over in Idaho, I'm trying to remember what his name was.
Coley?
Well, Cully, yeah, he'll be there. He'll be, you got the Lawrences will be there, but no, he was like an independent.
Oh,
he put on that other big show they had over there. But yeah, he was quite good. He was like a sleeper. He and Schmitz, right? And then you look at Weber. He just jumped in that thing of, and we don't even know who the driver is going to be in Lorenz's ride. So
to be announced.
But Weber was, I mean, if he wouldn't have lifted, he thought he was out. If he wouldn't have lifted, and that guy got by, I remember who it was. I think it was Scott Smith or one of them nipped him at the line. He was in.
Yep.
I mean, so BK is going to be good again.
Oh, geez, it's going to be off the hook. You're pretty much going to be able to throw a blanket over all of them.
Yeah.
Because, you don't know who's going to pop out.
And
really.
then you've got the Fart Cart 150.
Oh, good.
On Sunday. That's going to be awesome. And those of you listening out there, like Dave, Super Dave Chisholm, whatever, hey, if you've got anybody that wants to get some great exposure, we'll get them on the show. We'll do a bunch of cool stuff if they want to help sponsor that Fart Cart 100 or 150, excuse me. And that'll be on Sunday the 31st at Salem. So going to be pretty cool. Hey, and our guest, our Blue Line Graphics in the seat guest, Donnie Austin, checking in. Spin Cycle Racing is there, so that is exciting. So, yeah, we're almost ready. So hopefully everybody's ready for Christmas. I hope everybody realizes what Christmas is, right? I mean, I know we get caught up in our racing and we get this and that and the other thing, but it really is about, giving thanks to our Creator, right?
Definitely, he has risen.
So, I hope everybody has a great Christmas. And, speaking of, and we should be getting a call here from him just about any time, but just a quick kind of some insight here on the Bikers Against Bullies, USA. They are a nonprofit group. They're created by bikers, but they're not limited to bikers. They are just committed to creating awareness and educating children. Here we go. Right. Oh. Good evening, Mr. Austin. How are you?
Oh, this is Mr. Rushing.
Rushing. I'm sorry. How are you?
Oh, I can't complain. Loving it.
Good deal. Hey, our In the Seat guest tonight is brought to you by Blue Line Graphics. They are the best in custom graphics. They have their holiday sales event going on right now. Get up to 25% off a huge selection of over 50 incredible cutting-edge wing kit designs, wraps, logos, custom graphics, and more. Check out their new helmet wraps as well. You can do all that at www.blg.blue. Hey, Brian, I was just going through the mission statement of the Bikers Against Bullies. They're a nonprofit group created by bikers. They aren't limited to bikers, and they're all about creating awareness and education for both children and adults on the benefit of living in a society of respect for each other and combined with self-empowerment. They strive to create a society in which our mutual respect will create a new role model for others, and through our actions, enable others to have the confidence to emulate this behavior and reiterate its positive message to others. Our children deserve to be safe, to be empowered, and to live their lives without fear. That's pretty impressive.
Yes, sir, it is.
Wow.
They're a great bunch of guys.
I guess, man. Well, okay, so first thing, tell us about Bryan Rushing. How did you get started in racing?
My dad raced karts long ago when I was a kid, and I messed around with it a little bit and got away from it. And my son started begging me a couple of years ago to get into kart racing. So he did one day when he blew up the motor in his dirt bike. He traded it off for a race kart, and we started building it from scratch from there.
Wow, that's incredible. So now Donnie Austin is your son, and he's going to be the driver of the Bikers Against Bullies Mississippi UAS Junior Kart. Is that correct?
He sure is, and as well as the flat kart in the Mississippi series.
Wow. Now, how excited is he?
Oh, he's loving it. He cannot wait to get on the track in the new season.
Yeah, that's so cool. So now how did the relationship between yourself and Donnie and the Bikers Against, how did all that come about?
He sent them a letter one day when we first started getting into karting and wanted some stickers for his cart because he went through issues with bullying and wanted to bring awareness. And they contacted him back and said they'd love to put a decal on his cart. And then it turned into a full graphics and sent him a race jacket with their logo on the back, stand up and be heard.
Wow.
And it's grown tremendously from there.
Wow. Now, have you guys actually met? I mean, have you met any of the group yet, or has this all been just kind of through email and sending stuff?
We actually got to meet a chapter out of South Carolina when we went to the Maxis Nationals this year when Donnie went. They all came out to the Maxis Nationals and hung out for a day and learned a lot about kart racing, and we learned more about them and created a great brotherhood in a team.
Wow. That's incredible. I mean, that gives me goosebumps right now. That is really, really cool. Now, what did they think? So when they went to a great event there. So were they pretty excited about the sport, or?
They were totally excited about it. None of them had even known about kart racing, much less kids being able to race what they get out there and race. They're all interested in it now, wanting us to come back up there and have Donnie race a few races, and some of them are looking to get their kids into kart racing now.
Oh, that was just my next question. Are there any plans to get some of the Bikers Against Bullies involved in karting? I mean, actually driving?
That's what my goal is, to get our sport spread to them and get them on the track as well. I know there is a couple up around South Carolina looking into it.
Well, I mean, I can't help but think that would be just a great avenue, a great way to spread the word, not only about bullying, but about the sport, and just bringing a whole big group of people together to actually better the sport.
Exactly. That's what we're trying to do, is to keep our sport alive, keep it kind of grassroots where we can all do it.
That's and that's the and I think we've all talked here, Lippies. We've been talking. It's about that. It's about that competition, right? I mean, it's a given we want to win, but we want to. We also need it to still be enjoyable and fun. And I think that's part of maybe our issue right now is it's gotten so serious that the fun factor has kind of dropped a little bit, right?
Exactly. And believe it or not, there's a lot of on-track bullying.
Well,
kind of like the junior UAS program we have going on. It's based on a gentleman's style of racing. Clean, eyes forward. Yes, rubbing is racing, but there's no sense in the bullying.
That's exactly. I agree.
That's a great point. Yeah, it goes on and off the track, and anytime you can get people involved, whether it bikers are a great group of people. They love to work on their own stuff, and they're just as much like we are as we are like they are. Tinkerers and polishers and like to look good and go fast. So I can see where the fit works well. Plus, you throw in the bullying, which none of us like, whether it be on the track, off the track, in traffic, or at the mall. Nobody likes that.
Exactly. And believe it or not, the bikers do more for the children, just like we do in karting. They support everything for children.
Oh, they've got such big hearts. I just love all the bikers out there. One of my favorite bars I like to go to is run by bikers, and they just really do a great job there. I love those guys.
Well, here's what
they look scruff, but they're all about family.
See, and that's just it. But the key word there, Brian, is the fact that I don't know anybody on the planet that is a bully that's gonna go up there and try to bully some biker dude. I don't care if he loves family or not. They've got the look of this ain't gonna happen, right?
Somebody's gonna get hurt.
That's it.
Yeah, so it's
respect.
It is respect, absolutely. But and that brought up another one of my points was, karting, our sport as a whole, it really could use something to gain by having a cause, right? And so what better cause for karting than to get behind this bullying thing, because it is a lot about kids, and I just think it might be really good. It might just catch on to be something really good for the sport.
That's my hopes, and I know that's my son's hopes and his dreams, to get the bullying to stop all the way around.
Now, you said your son went through some bullying. Was this at school?
Yeah, it was. He was kind of short until this growth spurt here lately.
Was it now you can't afford to keep clothes on him, right?
That's it. I've got to keep adjusting the pedals on the cart.
Man, that's awesome. That is super awesome. Well, like I do with all my guests, I have a quick 5, and I'm going to ask you 5 different questions. And the whole key here is you can't really think about it. You just got to give the first answer that comes to your mind. So are you ready to play?
Sure, let's play.
We're going to play nice, I promise. So the first question is, who would win, Dave Chisholm or Cody Chisholm?
I'd have to put it at Dave Chisholm. Let's give a little bit of age experience there.
And who is your favorite racer?
Kart-wise, I've got to give it in a flat kart to Tyler Collette. He's got heart. Junior-wise, I'd have to give it to Jeffrey West.
Sweet. What is your favorite food?
Mexican food. The hotter, the better.
Nice. Oh, we can get along.
Yeah, we'll have to get her. He'll have to get down to Phoenix to try some of that salsa of Christy Mayo's if he has. Burris tires or Maxxis?
Right now, just experience-wise, I'd have to go with Maxxis.
Good choice.
But there's nothing wrong with Burris.
I love Burris, but where he's at, Maxxis is where it's at.
In a UAS event, it's a Grand Nationals, last corner, last lap, coming for the flag. Who would win, the Joker or the Riddler?
Riddler. He's always got a trick up his sleeve.
Well, what about the Joker?
The Riddler's got
always
better
good
jokes.
For a
laugh. Well, hey, Mr. Rushing, it's a pleasure to talk to you finally. We talk quite a bit on Facebook, and I love it. Keep it up. If there's anything the Northwest Race Report can do to help out the Bikers Against Bullies, please let us know. I'm actually, maybe what you can do is coordinate one of them, because I'd like to get them on the show, and we can talk to them about.
I surely will.
Yeah, that would be outstanding. And as you'll notice, Brian Esquinia from Blue Line Graphics is on the chat line, but you're going to get a free T-shirt from the Northwest Race Report and Blue Line Graphics as our in-the-seat guest. So we'll get you hooked up on that. What size do you wear? I'm not putting you on the spot. Okay. Size L. We'll get that going. And Lippy, you got
Blue Line Graphics. They're doing Donnie's wedge card for Junior UAS.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be awesome. Lippy, you got anything for Brian?
Just keep up the good work, and hats off to you to pulling in the Bikers Against Bullies. That's a great deal and a great cause that I think we should all get behind. You're doing a great job of it, and thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. I greatly appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, Brian. I appreciate you being on the show. We'll get you your shirt. I'll get with Brian, and we'll get you squared away so you get your T-shirt. But keep spreading the word about the Northwest Race Report. We're trying to do it, right? We're growing, we're learning, but we just keep spreading the word. We're not going to quit anytime soon. So
you got it.
All right. Thanks for calling in, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you. Had a good time, y'all.
You too. Thanks. Bye-bye. Boy, that was Bryan Rushing. What a cool thing. Bikers Against Bullies. And I've got, let's see here. I think what we should do is probably give the, they were formed in Missoula, Montana in 2012. They're educating through the school systems as well as public forum, anti-bullying tools such as vehicle stickers, posters, appearances, signings. They don't claim to be experts in anti-bullying, but they can be used in a highly effective manner, and they help organize bullying formats such as is it the OLWEUS? I'm not sure what that is, but when we get them on, we'll find out more. As a group, they do a lot of promotion rides, Facebook pages, appearance events, just all kinds of cool stuff. There are no officers, but there are chapters available. So if there's somebody interested in taking on a chapter, they are organized by a specific volunteer in each region, and they are considered a liaison. And it says, due to the ages and situations of those whom we support, those with convictions regarding child abuse or sexual conduct with minors will not be considered as potential liaisons. Jeez, I can't imagine why that wouldn't be. And then they should be aware also, if you're going to take on this chore, that there are children present, so you need to act accordingly. And the funds raised by the Bikers Against Bullies at any event will be used to fund child-oriented charities both locally and nationally. You can find out more by going to bikersagainstbulliesusa.com. Stop by there, leave them a note, like their page. It's a cool, cool thing.
Definitely a cool deal. Anytime we can do something against the bullying, whether it be on the track, off the track, in the school, in the mall, whatever, it needs to be done. There's just too much of that out there.
Absolutely, there is. Big shout out to Blue Line Graphics, who puts up the T-shirts for the Northwest Race Report and the our In the Seat guests. Couldn't do it without them. So Brian, Jason, and all the guys, Blue Line, thank you so much for that. And now, we're going to get into our bench racing segment. You know, we talk about clubs and boards and all that kind of stuff, and we're always talking about, you know, membership. And I was talking with Wes Snow, and that's what kind of prompted this deal here, because I asked, you know, I said, you know, so when does the voting happen for the UAS? I mean, they've got a tech director who is Joe Torres, right? And so I don't know who the other tech guys are that are on that committee. I don't know if I download the rules. I got to take a look at them, but I don't know if they give a list of the actual techs. But it made me think. You know, and Wes said, well, to his knowledge, there was no board, so to speak. Okay. So I'm thinking, man, I mean, a series of this magnitude that's in this size, I don't know how you really, truly manage it without some sort of a board. So I got online, did some research a little bit, and just because there's clubs, which Lippy, we've got a pretty much an expert here on this, but you know, I just wanted to know really what their true you know, cause is and what their role is. And so you know, it says here, when you volunteer to serve on the board of directors for your club, you are accepting the responsibility for helping ensure the long-term survival, health, and growth of the organization. You are also accepting responsibility for ensuring that the articles of the organization, the mission statement, and bylaws are followed. If they don't reflect the current organization, they need to be changed.
True.
You know? So there it is in a nutshell. It says the board is responsible for managing every aspect of the club's operations and for asking the tough questions, such as, is the organization financially solvent? Are we running things as efficiently as we could? Are we using our limited resources to the best effect? Are we doing everything we can to reasonably do with the available resources? Are we meeting the needs? And this is the biggest one. Are we meeting the needs of our members? And are we using technology effectively? So, I mean, the biggest one on there that I see is, are we meeting the needs of our members? And sometimes the answer to more than these questions is no. In some cases, the board has been elected specifically to implement change, perhaps to receive or revive the organization to upgrade its technology. But change is a two-edged sword. You do it too fast, and the club is no longer the club that most people originally joined, and you might end up with more defections than you were expecting. But if there are structural problems and you don't address them quickly enough, you risk the club closing because it cannot fund its operations or because the members see no point in renewing their memberships.
These are all good points.
So now I look at that and I say, okay, a couple of things that fall in there. I mean, obviously the UAS is a big deal, right? I don't know how these other series are doing it, but who's asking those big questions there?
Yeah, who's asking them, who's answering them is definitely big questions. I believe their administrators are answering most of their questions, and they're supposed to go to their people in their area and ask those questions.
But, however, there really is no board now. But then again, if you're going to sell memberships, and that's what it says here, and here's one of the things, because members might not see any point in renewing their memberships, which kind of rings a bell in my mind of kind of what's happening, right? People are saying, okay, I like it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not bad-mouthing this. I'm being the devil's advocate. I'm saying, hey, you've got a big group of memberships there that you're trying to get to renew. And the magazine is great. The magazine would be a great avenue to talk about things, to communicate to the members. I mean, I don't know that, 3 times a year. I know it's work, but maybe that's where this board comes in to help handle the promotion and the media part of it. You've got your tech thing that are supposed to gonna be following things around to the grands and such. But nowhere am I seeing. Where do we vote? How do we get people in there? Maybe there's a lot of people that would run for that board. You got some big players back there. You got Chris C. You've got, you've got Gleason, Engine. You've got tons of guys back there that are, pretty knowledgeable. Dave Chisholm. You've got, just a ton of guys that could potentially really do that some good.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Chassis builders, engine builders, all that kind of stuff can bring an extra aspect and an extra view into what's happening in your series. So anytime you can incorporate those people into it and find the willing ones, and if they're not willing, then they're silly, because really, you're investing in your future by doing it. So I can't see why they wouldn't want to be involved. And to not do it just doesn't seem good. Everybody wants to make it better, so.
Absolutely. Well, what did Shane one time says, the UAS should raise their membership fee slightly, but make the American Muscle Cart magazine a part of the membership. I see no problem with that.
I'd be down with that.
Yeah, I think every racer would, right? But it also says here, change needs to be measured and accompanied by careful thought and discussion among board members and other interested parties. The board needs to welcome new blood who will bring in new ideas and skills, and this is an especially good way to encourage younger people to get involved, preparing them to be the next group of club leaders. Makes sense to me.
These are all great things. The more people you can get involved, the more people have a voice in it. And I've found that the more people we get involved, the more questions are asked, the more things that get resolved beforehand, because everybody seems to look at it a different way and through different eyes. And when that happens, a lot of points are brought up that you don't think about when you're the person or persons in a small group that are putting yourself out there to make all this stuff happen. Everybody kind of looks at it through a glass eye, and when you bring in a bunch of other people, young and old, a lot of other questions come to the top that get handled ahead of time. Instead of 4 people making a decision on everything that's going to happen, then putting it out there and then going, oops, that didn't work so good.
Well, and that brings up the next point, which you should all people should know. If you've ever served as club president, you know that begging for volunteers in some general way almost never works.
Amen.
People don't step forward without having a specific task that needs to be done and one that interests them. The best way to get more people involved is to start by building a database of skills. Then when you need something done, you find people in the database and ask them to help with that task. Hook them with a small task, then reel them in by building a web of contacts and friendships which make people more willing to participate. I mean, that's, it's unfortunate you got to do that, but sometimes that's what you got to do. It's a successful organization have active programs to bring in new people. They have committees to share the workload. They are led by a board member with a formal charge to share the workload and to get input from multiple people. Committees also get more people familiar with the organization and how it works. They move people around to different portfolios and move them up the hierarchy. So it says, but committees, and this is the biggest thing out of this, but committees need to be focused on doing rather than on talking.
Woo.
Many spend too much time debating with people, and people get quickly bored and leave. Right?
This is true.
Excuse me. So it says the board of directors in clubs and associations should periodically examine the structure and organization of their board of directors to confirm that it still reflects the group's needs. Has the board become too large and unwieldy? Are the responsibilities properly spread around? Are there parts of the club's organizations which are not specifically assigned to a board position? Are the positions no longer needed? So, I mean, how does the flow of information go around the club? When a new membership arrives in the P.O. box with a check, who collects the mail? Who enters the details? Where does the check go? And who contacts the member to welcome him or her to the club? It's just, I mean, it's maybe, that's, resources, yes, is a key, but there again, if you're going to volunteer and you're going to be part of the thing, going in that when you get elected to this board, you're not getting paid.
Well, yeah, right. I agree with that. Limiting board members' stays on the board is good, too, to a couple of years. But the problem, kind of like Chizzy alludes to here, and especially with my club, is we just don't have the membership or the people that want to show up each and every week. So, having a fresh source and more people, it's tough out there. You end up with the same people over and over again, and our club's fighting that right now with me being the president. I'm going on 4.5, 5 years now being the president, and that's not always the best thing. Just like with our politics out there, too much time in the office, people get jaded, they get opinionated, and those things aren't always the best. As much as you can turn over, you need to turn over. But again, like Chizzy says, and with our club in general, we just don't have the manpower to do it. I've got 6 people that show up religiously at my meetings, and that's about it. From time to time, we'll get a few more people if we get a hotbed issue, but otherwise, people just don't want to show up or don't put the time in, and that's sad.
Well, I guess it's time for everybody to kind of check themselves and look in the mirror, right? I mean, it says, remember, the board of directors is elected by the members to run the club. They have a lot of power and autonomy to make decisions and execute them without coming back to the members for every little thing. If members don't like what you're doing, they will vote you out of office.
True.
Okay. Hopefully that is the case. But anyway, it's just something that I think maybe the members of UAS and members of clubs everywhere, it's just something that I've never really looked at the breakdown of what it is. I mean, obviously you can get pretty elaborate on how many people you have on the board and or you can go the simple way, right? So I think the best thing is every club, even the UAS and every club locally, nationally, should look at, okay, they need to get a breakdown of this so they can know that, hey, are we asking the difficult questions? Are we solvent? Are we doing things efficiently as we could? Are we using our resources to the best effect? I mean, are we doing with the available resources we have the best things, right? I mean, I mean, it's good to always kind of re-look at things, right? Instead of just assuming that the wheel is rolling straight.
Definitely. We go through our rules once a year, every year, and fine tune everything. And I think especially with the UAS, they need to ask themselves, are the tough questions getting answered? And if they're not, then what can you do to answer them? Everybody wants it to be better and get better all the time. And I think the way you do that is with an open forum and with an open content. The closed door stuff and the behind the scenes, that happens on a day-to-day basis on races. But when it comes down to rules and everything else, it really needs to be out there for everybody. And I don't know how the UAS works. I'm working on educating myself on that now, but when they do rule changes and stuff like that, it seems like it would be better if they put it out there for everybody to touch on.
And I think they did. They put, but I don't know how the voting thing is. I just think it might be something for the members to look at and say, and maybe you don't. We're not saying you have to be nasty. We're not saying that the job that they're doing is not good. I'm just saying there comes a time where the thing gets bigger than maybe. It gets bigger than itself, and it's the things aren't getting done that maybe should be getting done, and who's going to suffer? I mean, if a member's paying his money to be a part of that deal, then we need to get they need to have their voice heard, and they need to speak up. I mean, that's the biggest thing is they need to speak up. I mean, you're paying your dues. I think you have every right to speak up. You don't have to be an ass about it. But you should speak up if you don't like something, and so that's kind of my little gist on boards and clubs. I mean, check yours. Does it hurt really?
No, it doesn't, and it's all great stuff. And we are not getting down on UAS or my club by any means.
Not at all.
We are just asking some of the tough questions that are out there and trying to get some answers and help move things forward for our sport in general.
Absolutely. And it's time now for our lappin with Lippy. Lippy, it's all yours, buddy.
Thank you very much. Today's Lappin' with Lippy is brought to you by Collins Racing Engines. For all your two-stroke and some of your four-stroke needs, go ahead and give Collins Racing and Engines a call. He's also a school shop teacher, so he's very busy, so leave him a message and he may call you back. So tonight, I'd like to talk about notes, records, and receipts. It is very important to keep your notes and records of setup and tracks that you go to. Everybody knows that. It always helps with setup and different things like that. So notes are very important to that, to know where you've been. I've talked about this a couple times, and everybody's probably going, geez, didn't he already do this? But that's not what I'm talking about today. What I'm talking about today is keeping notes like when you bought something, how much you paid for it when you did buy it. That is where the receipt comes in. It's your proof of it. Now, I know everyone's always trying to hide that stuff from the wife or the husband or whoever the significant other may be, but that stuff is very important when it comes to replacement from fire or theft. That's been my problem, the theft part. So without a leg to stand on, without a receipt or records of any of that stuff, when you purchased it, how long ago it was, how much you paid for it, those things are all so very, very valuable when it comes to a problem such as mine and things that I am facing. So what I can say is I suggest that you put a folder in the shop or the garage, wherever you may be, and put all those receipts in there. It's your proof. You want to save that, people. So often I went through and just burned everything I could find instead of saving it, and it's turned out to be my downfall. We really, really, really need to save that kind of stuff and document everything that you do. The other thing I would like to talk about is inventory. Keeping an inventory of what you have. Good notes of what you have in your inventory, whether it be in your trailer or your garage. You need to really, really stay on top of that. Good records are just you can't figure out anything without great records of that. So I talked to my insurance company and put my claim in and told them what I missed. And now Rusty's called me in the last couple days saying, my GoPro wasn't on there. My iPod speaker system that I plug into my phone wasn't on that list. So different things like that are falling through the cracks of what we could have claimed that we didn't claim because we didn't know about it when the lady was on the phone. Giving her all my information. So really, inventory is everything, and knowing what's in there. Because we race so many carts and have so many things in our trailer at a time, it's really turned out to bite us. And so has a lot of the small stuff, small screws, nuts, bolts, things you don't really think about that once you start adding up really make a big difference. So again, keep good records, and all of our stuff was stolen out of our trailer, but even the thieves that got to my trailer, my light that I had on my garage, which is a motion sensor, it was a halogen style bulb. You can't unscrew them, something I learned over the years that I like to buy now. But the thieves put their stocking cap off their head over my halogen light bulbs to dim the light so I couldn't see what they were stealing out of my trailer, but it nearly burned my garage down. Had I have lost the garage too, as well as all the stuff they stole, I wouldn't have any records because I don't know what's in my garage, and that's part of my problem and things that I need to do to keep all those records. So these are things that I wish that you need to know and take care of before this happens to you. Also, while we're on this subject, you need to get a hold of your insurance company and make sure that you have the right coverage for what you need for your stuff. For example, they said that most of my stuff is hobbies. They don't cover hobbies. Hobbies are a specific category, such as watercraft, ATVs, snowmobiles. These are all things that are covered separately and considered hobbies. So you need to get a policy that covers your hobbies. Otherwise, when they get into your garage, shop, trailer, or whatever it may be and steal thousands of dollars of your stuff, you get hundreds back. So please keep good records. Take the time to do an inventory and know what's there, so when you're asked, you know what's missing, and you're not weeks later still finding stuff that's missing. So please take my what happened to me and make it a good thing for you. Call your insurance company, find out what your coverage is, put a folder in the garage, save your receipts, put a small note on each one of your receipts saying exactly what it was for. You'll have the time and the date, because they also get to do this thing to you called where they you've owned it for a few years, so they get to depreciate it. Don't ask me how or why that works, but they get to depreciate everything that you have. Even though you have to buy it new when it's not depreciated, they get to depreciate everything of yours. So please keep your inventory, keep your receipts. The more stuff you keep, the more power you have if this happens to you. So, again, in closing, keep folder in the shop, put all your receipts in there, do good inventory, and then get a hold of your insurance and make sure you got the right coverage. For a couple $100 a year, you can cover the thousands that they can take away from you in just a couple hours. So, at this time, I would like to take a chance to thank each and every one of you for tuning in tonight and listening to Terry and I. We put a lot of thought, time, and other things into it, and we really appreciate you coming in, and I wish you all a very Merry, Merry Christmas.
Lippy, good stuff on there. It is unfortunate, but, they make, I don't know, there's probably a lot of guys that are computer savvy. I mean, I'm just good enough to get myself in trouble, but there are programs, simple ones that you can get that you can, put on your laptop or whatever to keep an inventory, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be anything elaborate. It just should be something even as simple as a list with maybe, I think they're going to require a part number maybe, but if you've got your receipt, you've got all that, so maybe you make an Excel spreadsheet that's got, what the part is, what the part number was, where you bought it, and how much it was and the date. Boom. And you've got, if you don't want to hang on to all those receipts, then take the receipt and put the receipt number down with that list, and then you don't have to worry about it. But, if you go back to one of the previous shows on the Northwest Race Report, and it was early in the year, I talked about running your racing program like a business.
Definitely.
And I think if you did that, you would, because you should be doing that. It's a write-off. You can write off your miles or, whatever it is. I mean, talk to your tax professional before you go assuming, but you should be trying to do that.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Any of that stuff you can keep. The more records, the better. I know a lot of people out there don't like to do it because, just like me, after adding up all the stuff that they took, it wasn't a pleasurable day sitting down with my wife. She did not like the amount of money that I spent, and is out there that they took. But, not having all the records is what's really costing me. I'm getting under $1,000 for $10,000 worth of stuff taken, and it's just not right, people. And it's because I can't prove anything, and I didn't have the right coverage. So that's all I can pretty much put out there is just make sure you've got the right coverage. It pays dividends.
Well, and a couple of the guys you could talk to would either be Shane Biles or Shane One-Time Smith. I mean, they are actually doing this kind of thing for a living. So they've got an inventory. They've got to know what went where and how it went where. So, talk to those guys. Maybe they've got a simple way or they can give you an idea from what they use of a way to set something up. Because they've got to know what comes out, what comes in, what got returned. I mean, granted, it doesn't have to be that elaborate, but
it doesn't have to be that elaborate, but it is proof, and it is your word against the insurance companies. So whenever you can present them with paperwork that shows exactly when you bought it and how much you paid for it, it really pays. But when you can just say, well, it's this much and that much, it's your word against theirs, and they get to do what they want.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think it helps you as a racer too. If you're keeping those kind of notes, that's going to help carry you over to keep the kind of notes you need to take, like on a couple of your segments ago where you said you need to write things down, you need to know, and that just it's just, Shane Smith says, my computer tells me everything, I know nothing, right? So
it's a good point.
It is. So get on your laptop. There's got to be a simple program. Maybe that's something to work on, an app for that, but there's plenty. You just got to get out there and look into it.
Know what's in your trailer.
We got just a few minutes left. I just want to say it's been over a year. I got back from Colorado last November. It was like December the 4th, I think it was 1 year. I kicked off my first podcast, and I wasn't sure what to expect, but I got to thank One Time for firing me up about it and being part of the show for the first first half of the year, and
he does a lot for karting.
He very surely does. I can't thank him enough for coming here, taking the time out, and being a part of the show. It was awesome. And yourself. I mean, you make every effort to get here, even when it's maybe not so pleasurable, and I appreciate it. But to everybody out there, you know what we're doing, and it's just going to take some time. We're just, it's just one of those things where we're doing like a club. We're trying to do the best we have with what we've got. We're behind you guys, but more importantly, I appreciate just all the support, all the encouragement, and everything that everybody gives to every racetrack that I get to go to. It's just, I'm blessed. I'm having a Merry Christmas just for that, that we get to put these on every week. So, but Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope 2016 is going to be awesome. I hope all your families, everybody. I just hope you have the best of holidays. It's I don't know what else to say other than Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to everybody out there, and the karting family is a great family to be part of.
It is for sure. Next Wednesday, we're going to be knowing who is crowned with the crystal from the Holiday Classic. We'll be ready to go. I got a big gig on New Year's, but the 2nd, I'll be up at Salem for the as we come back from the Christmas break with the Slideway Saturday. Are you going to be able to make it?
They didn't get any of our hardcore kart parts or the karts we had down in Salem. They just got everything that supports it. So we will hopefully be down there. I don't know about the 2nd, but we will be down there.
Right on. Hey, to all the people going down to Arizona, Shane Smith, Renee Angel, Stephen Chase, the Hitman, Ryan Diotti, everybody, good luck down there. Keep it rubber side down. Keep it all in perspective. And best of luck. Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year. We'll talk before the New Year, but thanks, Mr. Diotti. You too. Have a Merry Christmas, sir. Kevin Bridges, Shane Smith, Dan Watkins, Brandon Squinty of Blue Line Graphics, Scott Keeney, just everybody. Dan Kravitz, who was P1 tonight, Dave Chisholm, one of the best karting advocates on the planet. We love you. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a safe and very, very Merry Christmas. James McMahon, revs up, baby. You're the guy. Thanks for tuning in. But we love you. Have a good one.